Good evening and welcome to Live United. Live United is different stories in the community about the work that people are doing that makes a real difference out there, how people are volunteering, giving, and advocating for the good. And today I have a very, very special guest. I have Trevor Burke with me. Trevor's a volunteer at Monadnock United Way. More importantly, I'd like to use the word volunteer because I think that's something to really emphasize here. That's so important, both in the lives of people out there and also for our agencies who are trying to make a difference in people's lives. So welcome, Trevor.
Thank you, Kelly.
It's nice to have you here. And Trevor, tell us a little bit about yourself. I believe you're a native of the region.
That's right, I am. I'm born and raised in the Monadnock region. I grew up in Bennington. Went to high school at Conval, graduated from Conval, and have traveled a little bit in and out of the state. But for the most part, I've remained in the region.
And you have been volunteering at the Monadnock United Way. And tell us a little bit about why you're volunteering and what impact you think that has on the community.
Okay, well, currently I'm in a program, and to be honest with you, my volunteer work started off because I was mandated to do some volunteer work. But since volunteering at the United Way, it's become much more than that to me. It's very fulfilling, and the enjoyment that I get out of volunteering there has been huge. I am doing all kinds of maintenance and painting and repair work around the building at the United Way on Center Street, and pretty much anything that the ladies there ask me to do.
And we do have primarily women at the office, so we enjoy having you around to do some of that maintenance-related work. But you talked a little bit about that it's become very fulfilling for you. And I happen to know that you've gone above and beyond what you were originally asked to do or required to do, and have just begun to volunteer. One of the things you did recently for the United Way was a thank-a-thon.
That's right.
Thanking our donors out there. And you mentioned that it's fulfilling. How else do you think volunteering makes a difference in people's lives?
Well, for me, I am a recovering addict. I'm in recovery, and the idea of giving back to people is somewhat of a new concept for me, because living the lifestyle that I did for so long, I pretty much took. I didn't give. So it's on the flip side of that coin. It's the volunteer work and helping other people in any way possible is a big part of my life now and my recovery.
So in talking about your recovery, I know you mentioned you're part of a program. Do you want to share a little bit about what you're involved in and what brings you both to the United Way and giving back to the community?
Sure, yeah. I currently live at the Second Chance for Success building, which is a transitional living house for people transitioning out of the House of Corrections. It's a great program. It's a 12 to 18 month long program that allows people to get on their feet, find a job, and also along with the Second Chance program, I'm part of a program through the court system which is called the Drug Court Program. And the Drug Court Program is relatively new to this county. Drug courts have been around for years and years all over the country, but Cheshire County just recently adopted it about 8 months ago, 2012. And the Drug Court Program is basically an alternative to a prison sentence. But it's no walk in the park, that's for sure. It's a very demanding program that requires a lot of motivation and determination, and it's been very helpful for me to be on this program.
So it sounds like you're beginning to experience some success in your life, and that volunteering has become an important part of that. And that you mentioned that giving back to the community that you feel like maybe you've taken from at times. Are there other parts of the program that are really supporting you? You know, the volunteering's become important. What else has become important in your life?
Well, I work full-time now. I'm back working and, attempting to, transition back into society as a productive member of society. Some of the other requirements of the program include some individual counseling, some group therapy counseling, stuff like that, and there's a treatment team, a whole group of people that are really our biggest advocates. All these people, including the Superior Court judge, the chief of police, a bunch of people who are all there for us as a very good resource for us to reach out to if anything comes up for any reason. And they're really our biggest supporters and want to see us succeed. And the program, helps with time management, structuring my days, and has helped me stay connected with other people who are trying to better themselves also.
That's really wonderful. Let's talk about connections, because I know in your volunteer work you're beginning to develop some connections out in the community as a result of that volunteer work. Well, what have been some of the networking opportunities that you have had?
Well, a lot of that has come right from the United Way through yourself, and I'm about to start. I want to be part of the campaign. The campaign this year for the United Way. The latter half of that being the allocation process, and I think that would be a great opportunity to network and to meet more people. So I plan on doing that this year, kind of shadowing one of the teams around the community and learning how that works. Also, the Thankathon. I met a lot of great people doing that. It's just so many opportunities keep presenting themselves to me, and I'm very excited about it all.
And you're not the only volunteer I know that we have. Where else are folks from the program volunteering right now in the community?
Probably the biggest place that I can think of as far as volunteer work goes is the YMCA, the new Y. I know a lot of other people who have been doing a lot of volunteer work there, and I've spoken with them about it. And they also being mandated to do this, I feel like it's become something more for them also. They're starting to see, the personal benefits of giving.
One of the unique things here in the United States is that we really live and breathe by volunteers in America, and certainly United Ways do. And it's interesting because I happen to work with foreign exchange students, and one of the things they always come in saying to me is, I don't understand why people here volunteer. What does it do? Why do they do it? Why do they do something where they're not being paid? And you mentioned that sense of fulfillment. Are there other feelings, other emotions that volunteering brings out for you?
Absolutely. It's just very humbling. I was talking with Kathy from the United Way about her trip to El Salvador, and what a humbling experience that is to see the way the people down there live so simply, and because they really don't have anything at all, and they're pretty content that way. So, the problems I have in my life these days I consider luxury problems, and it's just very humbling to do this work, to know that I can give freely of myself, without expecting anything in return, and the enjoyment that I get out of it is great.
So, that enjoyment, that sense of fulfillment, it's also that opportunity to network and maybe give back and build some new relationships and some bridges with people. What do you foresee moving forward for yourself?
As far as volunteer work?
Yeah.
Well, I plan to continue volunteering at the United Way. We've painted a good part of the interior of the building, but there's still quite a bit of work to be done. I can see that being an ongoing thing. And then, looking out there in the community for other opportunities to volunteer. I've been able to find some other places through the United Way that could always use help. It's an ongoing thing, the community. There's always, if your mind is open, there's always opportunities out there to help people, and I plan to to reach out as much as I can and really help out and give back.
That's great, because as I said, we live and breathe by volunteers, and you mentioned that you'll be involved with allocations, which is an all-volunteer process. That's the group of folks that ultimately make recommendations around how the funding should be used to support the human service agencies out there that we run the campaign to raise money for. So it'll be neat that you're actually shadowing that, and you could in the future become part of the whole allocations effort. Pretty exciting role that they take on, and certainly our campaign folks that are again, all volunteers. Really, the United Way does live by its volunteers. One of the neat things that happened for you, I think, when you came on board was we did a little interview with you to find out some of your skills. And we are trying more and more to do that with folks to see if we can match them with the different agencies who are in need of volunteers. So what were some of those skills that emerged when you were doing that interview?
Well, I have skills in the trades, painting, carpentry mainly, so I think that worked out quite well, considering all of the maintenance work that needed to be done around the building. I think things kind of fell into place nicely like that. Also, I'm a musician. I play guitar, sing, perform, so that could be, I know it's something that has been discussed as far as another volunteer opportunity to maybe go and play at one of the elderly homes in the region and just play some music for people. I think that would be another great opportunity. It'd be a lot of fun.
It's wonderful to see that we can really tap into people's innate skills and really use those for the common good of our citizens. What else do you see happening in your future?
Well, I plan on continuing to walk this path that I've been walking now for some time. A lot of doors have been opening for me. It's amazing how that can happen when you're doing the right thing and you're walking the walk. So continue volunteering, really giving back to the community. I want to further my education. I plan on going back to school. I currently work right now cooking in a kitchen, which I enjoy. I have kitchen experience. It's not the career that I plan on sticking with, but I plan to go back to school, further my education, and hopefully ultimately become a personal trainer, something to that degree, as well as nutrition. Those go hand in hand. So I look forward very much to doing that. And, I have a lot of hobbies. I love doing all kinds of things. That's what I love about the Monadnock region. There's so many, some people say that there's nothing to do around here. They're bored all the time. Well, I don't think that's true at all. I very much enjoy the outdoors, fishing, hiking, golfing, all kinds of stuff. I really enjoy living in this area. So I'm just looking forward to doing all those things that I love to do.
I think sometimes we forget how rich our region is, not only in the outdoors and all the natural beauty and the opportunities available to us, but in the services that we have, the volunteers that we have. The United Way is so fortunate to have the volunteers, but across this region we see people doing this, not just for the United Way, but for multiple organizations. And it really, really does matter. We've talked on the show about recognizing someone who's living united in the region, and this is an opportunity for us to do that. So today we're actually going to give Trevor one of the Live United shirts. And this is a shirt because he's truly someone that is living united here in the Monadnock region. So Trevor, we'd like you to have that.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for your volunteer work at the United Way.
My pleasure.
I know when you and I talked before the show, one of the things we talked about was maybe sharing a message that you wanted to give, particularly to young people. You did just say that people forget that there's things to do here, that they talk about being bored. Is there another message that you would want young people to hear from you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the kids nowadays, this generation, it's different than past generations. I feel like there's a lack of gratitude for the things that we have these days. A lot of things can be taken for granted. So I think it's important to remember that, and by volunteering, it certainly helps put things in perspective for me as far as that goes. And I just think it's really important to reach out, because by living united and by helping and serving each other, we become stronger as a community. And I think that's what's been so special about the Monadnock region and why it is the way it is.
I think that's an important message for us to pass along to folks, whatever their age may be, because it does impact all of us and makes a difference in all of our lives. I know you mentioned that you're in recovery now, and you're on a path, and volunteering and giving is part of that path. Is advocating at all something that you can see yourself doing in the future?
Absolutely, absolutely. In terms of recovery, part of my recovery is to give away what I've been freely given, as far as the tools that I have to maintain that recovery, and that's the biggest part of it for me, is giving to people that are still in need of those tools.
I think you're going to be a great advocate. We're lucky and fortunate to have you out there and on the right path. One of the things we also discussed was, if someone was in the position that you found yourself at one point in your life, where could they reach out? What's something that people could do to, get back on that right path?
Mm-hmm. Well, in terms of people struggling with alcoholism or addiction, there's some local rehabilitations in the area that are certainly that certainly helped me, and probably the biggest part of it is it helped connect me with other groups in the area and other people in recovery, because the whole theme of living united, that's the same way it is for me within my recovery community, is we all our common our welfare and unity is the sole purpose of it all.
I want to remind our viewers that if you are out there and you feel like you're in need of service, Trevor mentioned that there's a lot of them that the United Way supports, a lot of them that we do not financially support, but we're aware of, and that you can reach out by calling 211 and just dial that number, and it's a referral line. It'll connect you to those different services, and 211 is statewide in New Hampshire, so you can call from anywhere. So that's one great resource. Another, certainly in relation to addiction and getting on the right path, would be Phoenix House. There's Monadnock Family Services, there's MAPS, there's lots of services here in the Monadnock region that you can connect to, should you need to. And if you're wanting to volunteer, certainly you can contact the United Way about volunteering, but you can also call into RSVP over at Monadnock Family Services, who has the Neighbors in Deed program, has RSVP, doing some great stuff in terms of reading. Trevor, you mentioned the Y, and a lot of young people working over there as volunteers. Many organizations are in need of that kind of service. Because we never have enough resources, particularly the human resources, to be able to meet all the needs of the people we have to serve. I know in our next show we have the Community Kitchen coming on. Again, another organization that lives by its volunteers. So for today, Trevor, any last thoughts that you have?
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. This is, I think, advocacy, is the best example right here. And I would just encourage people to really get out there and get connected within the community. Look for any opportunity to volunteer, to help out, because there's tons of them out there. And I know that by giving back, helping out other people often does more for me, I feel, than it does for the people I'm helping out.
That's a super message. Thank you, Trevor. Do want to thank you for joining us today, and remind you folks out there, our viewers, that to live united, give, volunteer, advocate, be part of making a difference. You can share your story with us at the United Way, and we may give you a t-shirt, much like we've done today with Trevor. Again, Trevor, I want to thank you, and have a good night.